Hi everyone, this is Pam with Bug Bites, and today I wanted to do this never-ending card with the Gypsy. And this is a fun card. It opens like this, then opens like that, opens again, and then goes back to the beginning. Assembling is easy, but you have to take something into consideration. I made some sketches so that it will be easy for me to plan and cut on my Gypsy. So the basic card is, it's just two squares, and for this part it would be nice if you could cut it using a solid cardstock which has the same color on both sides, because it turns both ways. So the folds goes both ways. It's just a square. I used an 8-inch square in this, and you can use any dimension as long as you make it easy on yourself and see that this number is divisible by 4. So as long as it ends in a 0.0 or 0.5 when it is divided by 4, that is to an ½ inch mark or to the 1-inch mark, then it'll make your job easier. This is just one square, and we have cut that square in half like that, 2 halves like that, and then another 2 halves like this. And this red corner is where the glue goes, and this two are the scoring marks. To plan your scoring mark, just score marks, that is, to just divide the square into fourths. So score the first mark, forget about the second mark, then score the third mark. So once you do that, you have your squares all set and ready. A few tips on this: when you're applying glue, just make sure that it doesn't reach the score mark, so you can keep it somewhere by half. So here I have a 2-inch this way, so I will keep my glue square to the 1-inch mark. So the reason I can show you that, when you open, and when I open like this, I don't want the glue to go beyond this point. So I don't want it to go beyond these score marks, so this 2-inch square. So it would be better if I put the glue just in the top part so that it's easy for me to unfold. While assembling, it's better you have something which has a right angle so that you can butt the edges against. So that makes your job of laying it simple. I have designed the Gypsy file for this. So it's basically just 4 rectangles. So I've cut this using black cardstock. And if you can look closely here, if you cut, you'll see that there is a tiny score mark over there. So 1, 2, a straight line, 1, 2, a straight line. So we have to score that. But before we do that, let's take a look at our Gypsy. Okay, this is page 1 in the file. I have 2 rectangles and these tiny score marks. So this will be the first page, and then we go to the second one, and these are the third and fourth rectangles which we need. I have made some squares and rectangles for the inner shapes. So this is where we have to figure out how to get those squares. And then the fourth, again, the rectangles which we need for the inner squares. In a moment I'll show you why we need these many shapes. First 4 pages are the pages which we need to cut any never-ending card on the Gypsy. But from 5 onwards in this file, you don't need that. These are just embellishments which I used to decorate the card. So this is straight from the Nest cartridge. I love that cartridge. I will make 2 files, one just for the basic card which I've used using George, and these are all the shadow features. So that's the Gypsy aspect of it. I first plank. This is the better looking sketch, but you just have to first assemble that. So I did that. I pasted, glued, got this shape. So then went the part of numbering them to find out how many squares you have. So the first step, I used a solid cardstock because it turns, as I said before, it turns both ways. So I didn't want to end up with pattern paper which are different and so spoil the look. So I prefer having this as the background and then cutting a piece. So what I have done is the inside piece is just a ½ an inch. That is, if you want to leave a ¼ inch on both sides. There were 3 shapes. So I named the first one as shape A, which is a 4x4 square. The second one is the rectangle here. This is the 4x4 square. This is shape A. I've named this as shape B, which is the 2x4 rectangle. And of course the inside shape you can calculate, but third shape is the tiny square here in the corners. You can see that. So I've named that as C. And then I started numbering them with a pencil first. So it went as 1A, 2A, then B. So I divided that shape to count the number. So these two were also fine. Then here is the problem. Because when you open this up, I had to stop and make a decision because this is a square when open, and when it's closed like that, it's a rectangle. So I had to decide whether I wanted to keep it as a square or instead like this, one piece, so that when you see that, it'll butt out like that, or whether I wanted that as 2 pieces like that. Then I had to decide. So whether I wanted A as 6 and B as 12 pieces, C remains the same 8, or whether I wanted A as 8 pieces and B also as 8 pieces. So I went with the first choice, that is, I wanted 2 rectangles here instead of 1 square. I didn't like the way, I wanted it to show all the way like that when closed. So that's the look I went for. This is a sketch which shows how it looks when it opens. So the first shape, this is how it is. So I marked that. So this helps when you want to choose whether you're going to stamp. Since I'll be cutting it out, I need to know how each one is and how I'm going to place the images and what images I'm going to place. So it makes sense to make a sketch like this. So the first one, it's like that. And then the first, I've written the opening too because it needs to open sideways like that. So you arrive at the second sketch, which is 2 squares at the top and bottom, the small squares and the rectangles. So this will help you design planning your embellishments. So the third one is like a cross when you open. And then the fourth, this is all you have to take care of, these sketches, because once the last time when you open, it goes back to the beginning. So once you plan that, then it's easy to plan your gypsy files.